Before we get going, I want to tell you.
We're gonna have some fun.
Before we get going, I have to tell you, I'm very impressed with you and always kind of thinking outside the box, and this is certainly that. And that's what you got to do, man. That's what you got to do in life and in everything. So good for you. Good for you.
What I like to do is just try things. I love trying new things. It's one of my. I like to do that. I get bored like really easily, so I like to just try shit all the time.
What's the worst that's gonna happen?
Yeah, exactly, man. Just trying new shit. We were talking about that the other day. Just trying new stuff all the time, and it's like.
So how did this idea come to be?
I want to. Oh, we're gonna get into this a little bit later. So it all ties into basically brand, and there's ways. I want to get away from just like the normal insurance company type of thing where it's like the only ads you're ever seeing like, hey, buy car insurance, save $400. That's
you want people to like you because people hate insurance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. People fucking hate insurance. You can swear on the podcast, by the way. This is like fully. We can just do whatever. Yeah, people fucking hate insurance companies. What's your opinion on insurance companies?
Before we get to that, if I may,
yeah.
Can I get like a proper intro, just of you introducing yourself, what the podcast is?
Good
Well,
idea.
let's start. Let me be polite. I'll start with introducing the guests. Okay, so it's like, Patrick, can you introduce yourself?
Patrick McGuigan here, friend of Curtis Killen's, and very, very honored to be the first guest here of what are we even calling this podcast?
I don't know what the name is yet.
Okay, well, you got a hot start.
Yeah, it's a good start. I was thinking about that, and it's kind of like I feel like it could be like a running joke. Like I don't even know what the name of this podcast is.
It's got to be a.
I know it's a top 100. How many podcasts are in the world?
Oh, like
Joey, can you fact check? Yeah, Joey, can you fact check that for us, please? Yeah.
There's 107,000 podcasts in the world.
We're a top 107,000 podcasts in the world.
7,001.
Yeah, we're a top 107.
I feel the good number. 2.4 million.
Okay, so there's 2.4 million podcasts. So I'm glad that you're on a top.
2.5 mil.
You should be happy that you're on a top 2.4 million podcast.
Yeah, and then if you get a title, you'll crack the top 2 mil.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hopefully. But introduce yourself.
So my name is Patrick McGuigan. Very happy to be here, friends with Curtis Killen. We are very like-minded people in many, many ways. Particularly our affinity and love for business and growth in all ways.
Cool. And I'm Curtis Killen. This is the first ever podcast that I don't know what the name is yet.
Got Joey D on the fact.
Yeah, we got Joey D. His last name's actually doesn't start with a D, but we're just gonna call him Joey D. So yeah, let's get into this and all this kind of stuff. So like one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on this podcast, number one, I'm gonna pump your tires a little bit for you here. You're very charismatic, and you're very good at getting people. You're very good at listening, and you're very good at asking people questions. Like you're very good at that. You know the book How to Win Friends and Influence People?
I've heard of it. I've never read it.
I feel like that's you. But you do it naturally, just like going up. Like you're genuinely interested in speaking. Well, it feels at least. I don't know but
well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I mean, I definitely I do have a genuine love for people. I mean, we were talking about this the other week, like how some people like they walk around and they're like curmudgeons, like that guy's a fucking dick and that guy's a dick, and they're look at the weather and oh my god, and they're all so negative. Like I mean, for the most part, I mean, I genuinely like people, and I think that if you stop and listen to people, you're gonna learn a lot, and it's a way to better yourself and to have a better understanding, because everyone's got a story, everyone's going through something, and there's a genuine part of that for sure, and it's an easy, from a self-serving standpoint, like, in sales, let's say, or in business, like the best people love talking about themselves. That's just like, one of society's number one problems. You have people like you give them a quarter and all they do is talk about themselves, their kids' soccer, blah, 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 blah. So when you're in sales and you're just kind of like, this is a little awkward here, you walk into a room, just ask questions. And all of a sudden, it breaks the ice. And
I think that's one of the reasons, because you're such a good listener and because you have a genuine interest in other people and other things. Do you think that's why you're naturally good at sales?
I mean, I certainly think it's part of it. Yeah, I mean, it's part of it. There's no doubt. Yeah, I mean, sales is it's like an art and a science, right? There's so much that goes into it, but that's part of it, I think. Yeah.
And would you say, like, how important is sales is important in like any type of business, obviously. So it's like you need to, even if it's like a good product or a good service, you need to be able to sell yourself, and you can sell yourself through different ways. You can do old school ways. You can have a good brand that obviously helps and all that kind of stuff. What would you say is like, how important is sales for Fourth Avenue Imports? Because it sounds every single time that we have these discussions, it sounds like, and I know it's we'll call it a startup, but you know, the company's how old now? 3 years?
2.5 years old.
2.5 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, very much in our infancy. I would say that.
And every single time I'm speaking to you, it's like you're always on the grind trying to get like new deals. It's like, can you just talk about that? It's super interesting, and I respect the hustle a lot.
Yeah. So we started, myself and my business partner 2.5 years ago. We started a footwear distribution company, and it's you know, I mean, so far so good. But I mean, you mentioned infancy. You know, I mean, there's one week where I'm like, you know what, we got this. Like, we're really gonna do this. And then like the next week, I'm like, we're fucked. Like, we're totally fucked.
Yeah.
You know, so it's. I mean, I wonder when that's gonna stop. I'm really looking forward to that day.
What would be a situation, a scenario where you're saying we're fucked, or you feel as if you're fucked?
Well, once we have, I mean, basically once, you know, our expenditures go, you know, are higher than our revenues. You know, we started off, I mean, basically the short and long of our business is that we have the licensing rights for brands in Canada, footwear brands, and we wholesale them to retailers. We have a very small e-commerce portion of the business, but the large majority of it is wholesale direct to retailers. And you know, right now we have a couple brands. We just acquired a couple new brands, but you know, that's going to take some time to develop. We have 3 brands, one of which represents a large percentage of the business, and that one brand we do a really disproportionate amount of business with one customer, which is Costco. So you know, my worry is always that, you know, in 6 months, you know, we deliver a product to Costco and they're like, we don't need this anymore, and then it's almost, I mean, it's not back to square one, but I mean, it's certainly a major step.
Like it's great to have it because it brings in like a lot of revenue, but it's also, it's kind of the analogy like all your eggs are in, or most of your eggs are in one basket. And if you were to lose that contract right now as it is, I would imagine that it would hurt.
For sure, we would have to let people go, and it would be a major setback. But I mean, at the same time, like, you know, 100 times out of 100, I mean, I'm going to take that deal. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you know, it's a blessing and a curse. Like, I mean, it's actually not a curse. It's a blessing 100% that we were able to get it. But it's just, it's like, okay, well, like it you know, we took a lot of the proceeds from that deal and, you know, tried to invest in infrastructure in order to be able to grow the company. But then now all of a sudden, if we don't develop the other revenue streams in our business, then we might have to, you know, fire the people that we hired with the money from Costco.
So here, let's, I want to back up just a little bit, and for the listeners. So can you just, like, we talk about your business all the time. I have a good understanding of what it is, but can you just can you simplify what it is that you guys do, like in simple form?
Yeah. So basically, no matter, you know, let's say today, you know, you were to start a t-shirt brand in Canada, you know, and you know, you grow your t-shirt brand in Canada, and your business in Canada is robust and it's healthy, and inevitably the next step is going to be, you know what, we want to go, we want to go to other countries. We want to go to Asia. We want to go to Europe. We want to go to the US. When you go to those other countries, you have 2 choices. You either outsource the sales and marketing and distribution, or you do it yourself, which of course comes with a large investment. I mean, you got to hire people, and, you know, for big brands, it's worth it. I mean, you know, $1 billion brands, it's $50 million investment. They don't give a shit. But, you know, for most like BC brands, you know, when they come in from Spain or they come in from the US or whatever, and they're starting, you know, they don't
have the capital.
Exactly. So they just rather say, you know what, you take care of Canada, you pay us a royalty. So what we do is we take those brands, for you know, I mean, we specialize in footwear. I've always been in shoes. Yeah. And what we do is we take care of their sales, marketing, distribution in Canada. So we have, myself and my partner have been doing it for almost 20 years. So we have, you know, contacts with, I mean, I don't want to say every retailer, but, you know, a large majority of retailers. And, you know, we have the licensing, distribution, exclusive, like basically the exclusive, not basically, the exclusive distribution rights to their brands in Canada, and we sell them to stores.
Interesting. And how, like, I know the story, and there's like how did you get started in footwear, or how'd you get started in distribution, I guess?
Yeah, well, so I mean, I was really lucky. When I was a terrible student. I sucked at school, and you know, I was at a fork in the road where I really didn't know what to do. And my uncle, who's, you know, almost, you know, everything, he's, you know, one of my best friends and, you know, mentor,
Jimmy
McGuigan, just stud of life and stud of everything. He has an extremely successful company in the same line I'm working on. I was about like 21 years old. Yeah. He could tell that I was really like, you know, like a lost puppy, like, what do you want to do? And he was like, well, we need people, and, you know, no pressure. Hey, look, come work for us for 6, 12, 18 months. And, you know, you don't really know what you want to do anyway. And
come try it out.
Just come try it out.
And what, so when he asked you to come work at Trend, what was your job at that point?
My job was to be a Quebec regional sales rep. Sales. Yeah. So, and I didn't know the first thing about footwear. I didn't know. I was like green as could be. Like fucking didn't know anything.
And so that you're 20.
I'm like, no, I'm a little older. This is like I'm 20. This is 2005, so I'm 22. 22.
Okay. So that's young.
It's super young, and especially for someone that really like, I mean, I had no experience. I mean, the only work I have done was like in a pro shop, like, selling sleeves of golf balls and, being a terrible instructor and frankly a terrible golfer. I had really no prerequisite for this job whatsoever. And like, I was super underqualified but Jimmy being the guy that he is, he gave me the chance, and there's no question that, without him, I wouldn't be anywhere near where, the things I've been able to accomplish.
So Jimmy, okay, so your uncle got you started in footwear sales, and can you talk a little bit about, because you had a lot of success at the beginning, selling shoes. Like we've talked about how much fun you had selling shoes all the time. Can you just like take us through like what that was like?
Honestly, it was like, sometimes like in life, it's better to be lucky than to be good. Like this was just a case of just like getting a job and working for a company that, anyone at 22 years old, like would have killed for. Like it was just like, so the company's
and
name
even
is,
now I've heard really great things
absolutely.
about the company,
and I mean, like this developed lifelong friendships with all these people. So basically we started, and one of the things that's amazing about Trend Marketing is they have like, really good brands. So for someone to start, you're able to get in there and you're not getting rejected all the time, so it's like you can get an appointment, you're going to see people, and for the most part, like, maybe, I don't know, 20, 30, 40% of the time you're getting an order.
Yeah.
So that was really, really nice.
Those are great.
No, for sure.
Odds.
I mean, like so many of these people that start in sales, it's like, it can be so demoralizing because, you're calling friggin' 200 people a day and you're just like, no, which is hard.
And so like, what would you do? Would you cold call all of your prospects? Would you get a list? Like, how did you sell?
So Trend Marketing was as very much an established business and company. So they had existing customers in the province of Quebec. So basically you just get like a list of, I don't know, maybe 150, 200 customers, and you're calling them, and
the customers are retail shops.
They're retail shops. Yeah. So you're calling them and you're saying, hey, look, I'm free Monday to Friday anytime. Like, I got my bag of shoes and I'll come to your store. And at the time we didn't have an office here in Montreal, but I was literally working in my grandparents' basement. Just like with my little office, and then I'd call them, they say Tuesday at 10 o'clock, so I'd go over there and didn't know anything about anything, and just like basically an order taker at the time, just learning and just being like, here are the shoes, and like writing it down, what do you want, and probably fucking that up, and just learning, man, like just like trial and error, and like
at this point in time, like were you making good money?
When I started, I was making like 60 grand a year, which I mean at the times,
and this is 2005.
This is like 2000, yeah.
That's for like someone who's 22 years old. That's good coin.
I mean, I felt like
you were balling
rich. I've had my Honda Civic, and I was just like, all my only expense was alcohol and my cell phone. I was just,
which by the way can be very expensive. And for and before you worked in sales, you worked at, so for the Montrealers, you worked at Dome. I know we're going to I want to go off on a little tangent here, and this has nothing to do with business. Can you just talk? I want to have like some nostalgic points to this. Can you just talk a little bit about Dome and what it was like being a bartender?
Well, the first thing to mention about Dome is that if it was like around today, like, and it opened up at 9 o'clock, it would be shut down by the police at 9:07. Okay, like that place was just like so amazing, but so illegal by today's standards. Like it was.
What was illegal about it?
I mean, almost like literally just like girls like getting like undressed, and like it was like foam parties, like I don't know, like people,
and everyone was underage.
Everyone was underage. No one was getting carded. I mean, like it was just crazy. So I'll tell you a funny story. So when I first got hired, I was like through like a friend of a friend, and I walked in
to be a bartender.
And the owner, I forget his name at this time, but like he was like an intimidating, looked like a mob guy. I'm not gonna say he was, but he fit the bill. Yeah. And this is the questions he asked. He's like, "Do you have any experience bartending?" I said, "No." He goes, "Okay, come here Saturday at 6:30." I was like, that's fucking it. So I showed up Saturday at 6:30.
You're hired.
Showed up Saturday at 6:30. It's lingerie night. Okay, so like,
this is good.
I've never been exactly a male model. Okay, like with my no woman's ever said I love your body. So I'm just fucking show up, don't know anything about drinking, and I'm wearing fucking like my Denver Haze boxers, and I'm just like shitting myself.
So you're bartending in your boxers.
I'm bartending in my boxers. Okay. First girl comes up to me.
And a pair of shoes.
And a pair of shoes. First customer comes up to me. She goes, "I'll have a Cosmopolitan."
And you have no idea how to
I
make
might
this.
have put ketchup in that thing. I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like, and she was really nice, actually. She like took a sip and she looked at me. She's like, this is not a Cosmo. I was like, I know. I know. So I never really
Want a shot?
I never really learned the knack or the art of bartending, but I had a fucking wild ride. It was fun.
And okay, so here's a question, because like I worked all through university. I worked as a waiter as well. Do you find that? And I talk about this a lot with Strumis, and there's a lot of translational skills that you learn being a bartender or working in hospitality that help you in real life after. What would you say, like, besides all the fun and everything that you had at Dome, like, what do you think that actually helped benefit you being a salesperson afterwards?
You know what? I think
or
it's
not
all,
really?
I mean, I don't know, like maybe like a little bit, but I think it's just
Okay.
all the things you pick up along the way, you know? I mean, like, yeah, like working at the golf course, you know, like being part of a family that's, you know, extremely social and like, you know, makes you comfortable and gives you confidence. And, you know, like it's, I mean, I don't believe that like anything in success or in life is like based on like one thing, like, right? It's
Mhm.
never like, you know, this like aha moment of like, oh my God, I did this and like now I'm successful. It's just like little fucking things, little wins, little things, and all of a sudden, you know, you're better and better every day, and that's kind of how you get there. I mean, certainly in my experience.
Interesting. And for like there's okay, here's a question I kind of want to talk about a little bit earlier, and we've talked about this as well. I want to talk about brand, like brands and stuff like that. So you said when you're going to see these people, when you're going to see the retail stores, and the brands are working at trend, it made it a lot easier. The fact you could get appointments, like for example, you could say, hey, such and such a store on St. Catherine Street downtown or whatever, I have a Reebok, I have this brand. And like, can you talk about just like, what's your opinion on brands? And you've also mentioned that, like, can you just explain like I'm fascinated by the world of brands. And the power that it carries and everything like that.
Well, I
So
mean,
it's
I'm
like,
certainly not like a marketing expert, but one thing I know for sure is that, like, particularly in North America, like, you know, there is a small segment of consumers that want to go off the grid and go shop at a little boutique on Saint Denis. You know what I mean? But for the most part, if you go into like, you know, call them A malls, if you go into Fairview, you go to the downtown, go on St. Catherine, it's all the same brands. It's all the same things. And the reason is because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The consumer wants those brands. So you walk into those malls, it's all the same thing. So when you have one of those A brands, you make a phone call and you say, hey, I got like brand X, and like, can I have a meeting? And they're
and
like,
they know it's gonna sell.
and you know, well, they don't necessarily know it's going to sell, but they're at least willing to give you a meeting so you can come and show them, you know, and that's because the consumer, it's a level of trust, right? They know that, you know, when they see whether it's a shoe or a this, like, they know, okay, well, it's quality, it's, or
Like,
like
I
perceived
find-
quality anyway.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I find myself whenever there's like for example, if you see a brand that you know, this is the power of branding. You see a brand that you know, you see a brand that you don't know, and it looks the same and it's the same price. You're gonna buy the brand that you know. 10 times out of 10. Like, literally, this is what's gonna happen. So it's something that like I'm trying to learn as well. I always follow like Gary Vayner. You know Gary Vaynerchuk? I mentioned.
I know him.
before.
Yeah, I listened to a podcast of his.
And there's like, so he's all about brand. And there's a lot of guys. There's a couple, you know, the guys that are on the internet and stuff like that. And it gives you you still need sales. You still need to basically go in and kind of like, you have to be proactive. You have to try and, you know, get out there, put your name out there, and, you know, sell your product, sell your service. But if you have a brand and people know who you are, oh my God, like, what a difference it makes.
Sure.
It's insane.
And so the position I'm in right now is that, you know, when I started like my company, is that because we're new, like, we don't get like the A brands. We don't even get the B brands.
And is that because they don't try, or you don't have the logistics set up yet?
Exactly.
So
So like, let's say if we were to go like, you know, if we were to go,
yeah, like give me an example. Yeah. So
let's say if we were to go and approach like an A, like, you know,
Yeah.
like a really like call it like an A brand, like, you know, whatever you consider to be an A brand, like, I don't know, like a Birkenstock or something like that. You know, if we were to go and approach them, they'd be like, well, you know what? Like, we don't really see your track record, number one. Like, you haven't really been, even though like me and my partner have an experience separately as being like operators and, you know, kind of like managers within the business, our company as an entity does not really have a track record of success. Secondly, and frankly, we don't really have the infrastructure to support a $30 million business right now. You know, we're a small team, so like, we can't really, we can't, like, we would be fooling ourselves if we were to go and approach those brands right now, because we would fall on our face. So what we have to do is we have to take these like either A, unknown, or like B, like brands that are just starting, and we have to build up our company organically, which is probably the smarter thing to do really for long-term success. You know, if we were to get like go in over our head and get one of these brands, which would be unlikely to begin with, we'd probably fail, you know. So with a little bit of luck, and I think that the way we're doing it, I think we'll be okay this way.
Does your brand matter?
Our brand matters within the industry. It's kind of like a trade brand.
And just like, I just want to make sure 100% that I'm understanding. So it's basically like, so if there's, let's say I'm a Nike, no, they're too big. Let's say I'm a Cole Haan. Okay, Cole Haan. Let's say I'm Cole Haan. So I'm in Europe. I don't know where Cole Haan is, where it starts. Let's say I'm in Europe. I want to go, just to make sure I'm understanding, and the listeners understand as well. I go to Quebec. I want to distribute shoes in Quebec. I go, you know what? This looks kind of expensive. The capital expenditures, this is going to be expensive to set up. I just want to basically go in there, no risk. I'm going to call a company like 4th Avenue Imports to take care of the sales, take care of the distribution, and take care of, okay. And that's what you do.
Exactly.
So, and back to the same question. So, because you're just distributing other brands to retailers, does your brand matter?
It does. It does. You know, I mean, like,
how?
It matters because it matters within the industry. So if you're
So
a
it's
retailer,
B2B.
exactly, B2B matters. You know, hopefully we build this company up to the point where, you know, when a Canadian retailer goes to a trade show and they see, you know, right now we just picked up a new brand called Plackton. You know, and right now it's as I mentioned, it's one of those, you know, CDE brands. It's you know, it doesn't mean anything to the Canadian consumer. Our job is to build it up. It's shoes, yeah.
Shoes, okay.
Yeah, they're shoes from Spain. They're really nice sandals. But anyway, sorry. I'm going to get into the so they're
put a plug in there.
yeah. So our goal is to eventually build up a company, 4th Avenue Imports, where a Canadian retailer will walk into a regional trade show, whether it be in Toronto, British Columbia, Calgary, or Quebec City, and they'll see Plackton, and under it they'll see 4th Avenue Imports, and they'll know that synonymously that, first of all, we can trust these guys. They're going to get us the product on time. If they say that if they look at a shoe in red and they tell me March 1st, 90% of the time I'm going to get that shoe the way it's sampled March 1st, the way they tell me. So that's, you know, there's a trust factor there that, you know, we're not just a bunch of fucking yahoos that, you know, hey, you want to buy these shoes? Like, they know, like, we know, you know, we can get the product from A to B and we can get it to you on time the way at the price that we said we're going to. And not only that, but, you know, to say, you know what, let me take a look at this because these guys, they know what they're doing. They're able to source good product. They know quality. They know good brands for the most part. I mean, you're not going to, you know, bat 1,000, but, you know, for the most part, at least my goal is so that when they see a brand associated with my company, that they'll at least look at it, you know, knowing that, you know what, these guys know what they're doing, and from a logistics standpoint, they'll be able to deliver on their promises.
Interesting. And would you say that, like, I don't know, I find that so fascinating.
It's a unique niche business. I mean, people are always like, what the fuck? How the fuck are you, like, you're in the shoe business? Like, that's so weird. Like, you know, like, I'm not a firefighter, but, or whatever, you know, like,
And because, like, and you've always talked about too. So it's like, right now it's shoes. Do you want to stay in, like, do you absolutely want to stay in the niche of distributing shoes? Or do you eventually want to just become a distributor of brands, or just a distributor of anything for that matter? What's your vision for the company? Where are you trying to take 4th Avenue Imports?
So the reason that we called it 4th Avenue Imports, not 4th Avenue Footwear, is because we don't want to be pigeonholed into only being footwear. It's, you know, I find that because that's where expertise is, that's where we are, you know, because we understand footwear and that's where our contacts are. But I'm absolutely not opposed to, you know, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, you know, getting into other commodities. I mean, like, really, like, the essence of the business is really finding products that we think Canadians are going to like, you know.
You want to stay in Canada? Distribution in Canada?
Well, I mean, at this point, that's all we can do. You know, we really, I think that we need to be good at what we own and good at the space that we're in before we even consider looking at North America. Like, we had an opportunity to do this new brand in North America, to do it in Canada and the US, and I just think it would have been biting off more than we can chew, and we'd fail. You know, like, let's just fucking be good at what we're like. Let's you know,
down.
yeah.
Let's stick
exactly. You know, and then maybe, hey, who knows? Maybe in 10, 15 years we do that. You know, but I mean, never say never. But right now, I want to be good at being a Canadian footwear distributor.
And if the opportunity presents itself, maybe you could branch off, start doing clothes. Maybe you could branch off and start doing, because, like, if the logistics are there, because, like, think about it, it's kind of like the same thing as Coca-Cola, and they own Dasani, I think, or is it Naya? Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's Dasani. But, like, if you think about it logically, so they have Coca-Cola, they have all the infrastructure, they have all, like, everything's already set up, right? I mean, it just makes sense to make the water. I mean, like, why not? And then you basically just put the water in, like, everything's there. That money, they print money, these guys. I think they just bought bubbly, delicious. I wish I had some right now. I gotta get some.
The
bubbly
Michael Bublé one?
Yeah, the Michael Bublé.
The next step is you find a title for this thing, and then you get sponsored.
Yeah, literally. If you could pick one person to sponsor 4th Avenue Imports, who would it be?
To sponsor us.
Yeah.
One person.
They're like the spokesperson of 4th Avenue Imports.
I don't know about that. That's a tough.
It's a good one, huh?
I don't know. Spokesperson for 4th Avenue. I don't know. Oprah? Who has more social equity than Oprah? I don't know.
What about Shaq?
Shaq?
Yeah.
I mean, he's.
I feel like Shaq would definitely.
I'll tell you one thing about Shaq. He's open for business. He's got about 70.
Remember we were in Florida? We're like, Jesus Christ, this guy's everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you want another coffee, brother? You good? Okay, so here, can we? I want to talk about. I want to stay on 4th Avenue Imports a little bit, and I find this very interesting, and in particular for people.
Might be the only. You might be the only person out there.
No, I love this stuff because it's basically like what I'm trying to do here, and like what it's for people. It's like there's a lot of guys and a lot of girls in our situation. Like right now, we're starting a business, or we just started. We're early on in our careers.
Yeah, and it is cool to honestly, like, I mean, I know. I mean, you and I, we talk about this all the time, and our friends are like, enough.
Yeah.
Enough.
Like after work, and we're just like still talking, but like it's because we enjoy it, you know. It's very natural for us, which is why I thought that it would be you'd be a great first guest, because I'm like, it's literally just a conversation we have.
So far so good. Joey, what do you think?
Yeah. When we arrived in Cabo, it was literally this conversation, except with a couple of cervezas. That's the only difference. I want to talk about. I would like for you to talk about, or I'm going to ask, when it comes to capital, getting money, getting cash. Because that's like the lifeblood of any business, cash flow. I know it's a pretty broad question, but it's like, do you guys ever have any startup? Obviously, you have to be. There are most likely going to be there's going to be issues with cash flow. Of course, this is just the reality of running a business that's young. Do you talk about just like raising money, or like how you do it, or
yeah? So I the first thing I'll say is that when starting the business, I mean, I've learned more like in this past 2.5 years than I feel like I've ever learned. And one of the biggest things that, like, the biggest challenges that I hadn't foreseen coming was cash flow. And like when we were originally having these meetings with the banks, it was like cash flow projections. We'll do this cash flow projection chart. And they would just like, and I could see why, like, you don't like, it's just like, you know, it is.
And did the bank ask you for an update? Like, is it just one, or they'll ask you for an update every month, weekly?
It depends on, you know, we have several different financial products that help us finance the business. And it
like what?
So we had the BDC that helps has done cash injections into the business.
Do they take equity, or it's a loan?
No, it's a loan. Yeah. National Bank, which is our bank.
Yeah.
And I personally put in cash injection into the company as well.
Yeah.
So, but it's
to
never ending.
You put up your own cash.
Well, I mean, that was a portion of it, along with those other two.
And did that help? Like when you went to go get money, do you think you would have gotten the money if you didn't have skin in the game?
There's no doubt that I had not had that skin in the game. I mean, that's what they want to do. It's like when you go get a mortgage, right? They want you to put 20% down. Yeah. So it's the same concept. It's the same concept. So there's no doubt that helped us.
And it's the same thing. It's like any rules. Like we work a lot with Intact and Warren Buffett. Like all these guys, they're good business people, obviously, Warren Buffett. And rule number one for all these guys is just basically don't go into a deal if they don't have skin in the game. Mm-hmm. That's literally rule number one. They're not even going to look at the deal. Yeah,
no, it's true. So, I mean, like, it's just, and the thing that I'm realizing is that it's almost going to be like a never-ending thing until we're like extremely established. Like, because, you know, obviously we want the
never-ending
cash flow, like because like I want the you know, like we want like the business to grow, like, right, and you know, like, and if the business grows, well, we're going to need more money, you know, to buy products. And you know, I mean, we get a PO from a customer for, you know, $2-3 million. Well, we gotta pay for those goods. You know, hopefully next year we get several POs for a million.
So when you get a purchase order, 4th Avenue Imports, you're the company putting up the cash.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Wow. So you know, just to use, like, I mean, the Costco deal, whatever, because it's our biggest one.
So like tight on.
Yeah. So the Costco deal, like, let's say we, you know, just using round numbers, whatever, like it's like it costs us like $1 million in product to buy. Yeah. So we gotta find that money, you know, and basically we get paid like, I don't know, kind of 10 months later.
They pay you what?
Yeah.
Costco takes 10 months to pay you.
Well, between the time when we get the PO and
Okay,
we have to like,
understand.
I mean, like, and we work out like financing deals with our US partners and stuff
Got
like
it.
that, where we, we pay them in chunks and deposits and this and that. But I mean, to make things, so it's all to say that it's a big challenge, especially when we're starting and we don't have like a
I didn't know that it was this. I didn't know it was this. There was this much pressure on cash flow. Okay, that's huge. So you're putting up like $1 million, example, and you're not getting the money back for like 10 months.
Correct.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a
For
big
sure.
deal.
For sure. And like, yeah, it's definitely, there was a couple tense moments in our first year, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there was times when we were like, honest, and really like, we probably should have said no to that Costco deal. We probably should have said no because we weren't ready. Like we didn't fucking have the capability, but we did it and we fucking delivered the shoes and it was all good. So, I mean, they're doing it again. So that's kind of the final test of, did it work? They're doing it again. So fucking, there you go.
But it, like, did it help? Did it help the fact that you have a deal with Costco? Number one, are you able to go to other brands and just let them know, like, hey, I work with Costco, and does it help you get deals with other brands that want to distribute in Canada?
So I think what it did two things. It expedited our establishing our infrastructure to be able to do business with larger retailers. And then what it did is that it legitimized us to other retailers. Like, for example, we're, talking to like a Walmart or, like a Hudson's Bay company. Like, you have to be like, there's all this fucking shit. Like, like, are you EDI compliant? Like, do you have like fucking the barcodes and the scanning? Oh my God. Like, it's crazy. So when you
the bigger the retailer, the more
the hoops like are crazy. So like you have to like talk. So when like, again, you're talking to like Walmart, they're like, well, like, are you like that? You're like, we do business with Costco. They're like, okay, done. You're good. Like, you guys, it's like kind of like a litmus test of like, can you do business with us? Like, do you have the capability? Do you have the infrastructure, like the insurance and KDB, shout out.
KBD.
Whatever. Let's make that the title of the podcast, KBD.
We'll call it the KBD podcast, but everyone's going to see the what's it, KBD, KDB, or whatever like that. Interesting. What's your here's kind of like a funny one. We're talking about it at the beginning. What's your I'm going to do like a shameless like insert right here. I want to know what your real opinion on insurance is. And like, don't hold back. A necessary evil. Yeah. Honestly, to me, insurance is something that you have to have, and whenever you need them, they're not there for you. It's like, oh, like I've been paying into this for a decade. Like a fucking tree crashes into my car. It's okay, I have insurance. And then they're like, oh no, sorry, read the fine print. It's like, not on Sundays. No, sorry. Oh no, not when it's raining. Yeah, no, I get it. It's just, I mean, and again, and that's just my personal experience. I haven't had the best experience with. I'll never forget. Like I had. Yeah, didn't you have an issue?
I had a major issue, and I'm scarred for life.
Yeah.
So I had a rental property in Hamilton, and a tree crashed through the roof. And I was like, well, that's not good. No. And, but I'm like, it's okay.
That's covered.
It didn't get covered.
Why?
Because they said that it was an external element, or I don't know what the fucking thing, but basically they just said you fucked. So I hate insurance companies. I love you, but I hate insurance companies.
A tree fell over.
I remember I called you to get your opinion. And anyway, it was like fucking, like I was just like fuming.
You should have got a lawyer. Bro, if a tree falls on your house, that's covered.
Yeah.
That's a covered loss.
It was well, according to them, and I fought it and this and that. I mean, it was like, like 5-6 years ago. I don't remember all the details, but the long and short of it was that, like it was a tree that went through. I remember my tenant was like, we've got a problem here. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, let's fix it. And then I was just, I mean, it's not a situation where you have to wait for your insurance company. You just got to make sure that these poor people, their living room is not a fucking complete disaster. So I was just like, hey, like, let's just get it done, get the contractors there and then that. And after they're like, sorry.
By the way, not covered.
Sorry, but check, Appendix 4 on page 6.
That's not cool.
Not cool. So that's my opinion on insurance. A necessary evil that, unfortunately.
What can we do to improve this perception? And like insurance companies in general, they have a bad rap. I agree with.
Well, I think that I think that any business can, and you've mentioned this, and I think it's really important. Like kind of like being like a little bit more human with your customer service. Like I mean. Not everything has to be like insurance companies are and any big corporations for that matter are infamous for like black or white. Mm-hmm. Like and it's like all like, sorry, it's not in the policy. It's like, like, I mean, like, and obviously like your business is so regulated that it's difficult to say that, but like a little bit more compassion, maybe a little bit more like willingness to be like, you know what, like let's find a way to make this work, because that doesn't make sense. That doesn't seem right. Let's find a workaround, you know, instead of just being like, sorry customer, 794 not covered, next.
I don't disagree. And like just the client experience from insurance company to insurance company, like some companies are better at dealing with claims than others. I'm not going to name names and stuff like that, but as a broker, we see some companies that are just, it's a shit show when there's a claim. It's a fucking shit show. And it's unacceptable sometimes. And there's other insurance companies that it's so much smoother. Like, look, sometimes people, I see all the claims that are paid out. They pay out millions and hundreds of millions of dollars in claims every year and stuff like that. So it's not like they don't pay out, but I'm always trying to ask our customers and stuff like that, because like we're the broker, and at the end of the day, like I was speaking to a client the other day, and he's getting pissed at how the insurance company, like one of the things to pay for liability insurance as a business, how do we calculate it? It's very easy. They take a rate and they take your annual revenue and they just multiply it. That's your price. Depending on what you do, it's a matrix. There's your price. And so
the listeners are loving this, right?
No, just the last part here. Just the last part. But just long story short, he goes, you fucking asshole. That's good. Thank you for reminding me though, Curtis. Stop, cut the insurance talk.
No, you divide. You carry the four.
But what ended up happening? Long story short, it's basically I'm like, bro, I'm telling you how he goes. Oh, that's a ripoff, and he's getting pissed off at me. I'm just like, bro, I'm just telling you how it works. This is how it works. Every insurance company works the same way. But all in all, I agree with you, and we have to do better as like the industry as a whole.
I mean, it's like always you look at like, I think you like look like what can you do better, right? And there's limits to what you can do in any business. You can't be like Mr. Nice Guy and be like, everyone gets a thing. You get a thing, you get a thing, you get a free, like you're in a business to make money. That's number one. Yeah. But at the same time, like there has to be, I mean, as I said, there's limits to what you can do, but there should be like more of a human aspect. And I think that in any business, particularly insurance, because it's so fucking cold, if you were to do that, like that'd be a big win. No?
I agree.
All right. Just
I agree with you.
Revolutionize the insurance
company. Let's open up an insurance company. Okay, right now in the world, it appears as if the economy is slowing down. Looks like we're going into a recession. We definitely feel it here. Definitely feel it. Are you feeling the heat? Like, is your business kind of like, is your outlook for 2023? Are you kind of like shit?
Well, for us, because our business is ahead, so like we already like kind of like have felt it in a way. But the nice thing about our business, and this is just by luck, is that we sell low price point items. So we feel as though we're positioned to
might help.
We feel as though we're positioned to maybe get a little bit of growth. That's just speculative. I don't know that, but that's kind of like what we're hoping, because you know our product is cheap and cheerful. You know, I mean, it's not, you know, it's not even $100. You know, I mean, so the one brand that is providing 90% of our revenue right now is, you know, $30, $40, $50, $60 sandals. So I mean, we feel like that's where the consumer might go when they want.
They're like Crocs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
they're great, by the way.
Not bad. We love them.
Can I say their name on the podcast?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Joybees. Yeah,
Joybees.
It's like
God bless fucking Joybees.
Yeah, it's like I love them.
Silly little rubber shoes, and so we'll see. I mean, but because that's our number one brand right now, I don't think so. But it's gonna be interesting to see how it all shakes out. But
so right now, so in short, you're not really concerned right now.
I'm not terribly concerned, just because of where we do our business. In terms of the price point, like if we are like in like kind of like a little bit better grade, I think, but I could be wrong about that. I mean, I don't know. That's just that's my opinion. I think that generally when we've seen this, you know, these types of, you know, these dips pullbacks, or these pullbacks, like, you know, 2007 and 8, it's the higher price point that, you know, I was just having a conversation with the buyer, or she's actually the vice president of Holt Renfrew, and she's like, we're anticipating to get hit, you know.
Everyone's saying that right now. Like everybody's just saying like kind of the outlook right now. It's a very gloomy outlook on the economy. Like personally, I'm like right now we're good. We're going through for next year, but I am not. I'm just basically like I want to go through this. I don't want to have any pressure to basically lay anyone off. And we're in a position right now where that's not the case at all. So, but I want to stay like this. We're not hiring anymore. I'm just basically looking to go through this and like we get a bit of growth, get 5, 10, 15%. if we can get 15% growth next year, I'll be very, very, very
Sign on the
happy.
dotted
Like 10
line.
to 15.
And how come,
Yeah,
like, you
yeah.
would think that like insurance would be like almost recession proof? Is that
not.
because people
It's
buy less
not.
toys and people buy like less like jet skis
Dude,
and like
as
Sea-Doos
soon
and boats?
as soon as like when the economy, so right now, so here's the first thing: people are buying less houses because interest rates are going up, and we're seeing it like there's less houses, there's less cars for various reasons. People are getting broke. The supply chains all busted up, et cetera, et cetera. That's another reason. So when people are not buying all this new stuff, there's just like less activity in the economy. Like this year, we have the same amount of clients this year as we did business. We're growing, but for home and car insurance, for every client every new client we're acquiring, we're losing a client, and there's just less activity. So people think that insurance is recession proof. It's definitely, I don't want to say recession proof. It's good. Look, it's very steady. It's good. We're gonna be fine, but we're definitely seeing, and everyone, this isn't just my brokerage. We're looking across the industry. There's definitely a slowdown, and if there's a slowdown in insurance, in my opinion, like I think that there's gonna be ripple effects like all over the economy. All this to say, I'm in a position right now where I'm kind of just like, okay, I'm taking a conservative approach. Let's just go through this. But then again, it's like you said, if there's an opportunity to grow when everyone's what's the saying? When everyone's fearful, be greedy. When everyone's greedy, be fearful. So it's kind of like, I mean,
That's a good line, by the way.
yeah,
Really
great
good
line, and it could be, but it could be a great opportunity for you. I mean,
Well,
there's a lot of
we're trying to be. I mean, like we just like picked up a couple new brands. I mean, right now, like I mean, I'm always fucking scared shitless. Like I mean, I'm always like, you know,
But you're scared shitless for what? Cash flow? Or
I'm
like,
scared shitless of failure all the time.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like I think when like you know what motivates me the most, I would say, is not to like have like the nice things and the status and this and that. I mean, we all love nice things. I mean, there's no question that I like nice things, but I mean, for me, it's like the fear of failure drives me the most. So like, I'm always scared shitless around what's the, you know, so I'm always like, you know, like
And you have
working
that
hard to
grind.
not fail. Like, and that's what I think is like well, not I think, I know is my number one motivator. Like when I get up in the morning, I'm just like, I just gotta get this done. And like, you know what I mean? Oh my God, like I'm fucking scared shitless of.
do you enjoy that feeling? That feeling of basically, it's like, because like, you know, there's no stop loss behind you there. It's kind of
No,
like
for
if,
sure.
if you like
It's like you don't sink, there's like, I mean, you're like basically you jump in the deep end and it's like sink or swim. Like I mean, you know, and you just tell yourself, well, failure's not an option, so I got to succeed. And I think it's a huge part of.
That's a great mentality. Failure is not an option.
No, failure's not an option. Like okay, I'm backed up against a corner here, and like I'm not gonna fail. So like let's fucking by hook or by crook, let's get it done. You know, whatever needs to get done. Like literally, whatever needs to be done. You got to work long, hard hours, jump on a plane, do this, whatever the fuck needs to get done. You just do it. You know, just to kind of like make sure that, you know, you're like relevant in 12, 18, 24 months. You're not just like, it's hard, man. It's not easy. It's fucking not easy, but
How many hours a week do you work?
I'd say between 40 and 50 on
40
average.
and 50?
Yeah.
Some weeks more, some weeks less.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, certainly like, you know, there's times when I like put in a 35 work week or 30 even. And then there's times when it's like 60, 65. But I would say on average, yeah.
What's your main goal? Like we talked a little bit earlier about kind of like the vision of the company. Like you eventually want to get to a point where perhaps like once the infrastructure is in place, you're distributing other stuff. It could be shoes, it could be retail, it could be whatever. What's your vision though? Not in terms of the operations of the business. What's your vision? How do I say this? Like what do you want for yourself with this company? Do you want to do you want to scale across like the world, scale across Canada? Do you want to just have enough where you're making enough money, have a good life? Or like
my goal is to have a well-balanced, self-sustained, you know, as you know, kind of well diversified as possible, where like, you know, I'm not like, if I have like a bad like year, it's like, okay, whatever. Like, you know, like it was a bad year. Like, you know, not like being like right now we're so dependent on one brand and one customer. Like, you know, I want to have like, you know, like 1,500, 2,000 customers and have like 10 brands or 7 brands, whatever, that like, okay, like if we like lose one, then, you know, we're good. And
not a big deal.
And, you know, from like a personal standpoint, like I want to be like a business owner, not a business operator, you know, like I want to be like, have like a great lifestyle where, you know, like
you can leave.
Like I'm like, yeah, like,
afternoon.
you know, like I'm working, you know, I'm going to play golf in Florida for 3 months. And like, you know, if you need me to jump on a conference call or, you know, there's a fire, I'll be there. But like the business is running itself.
Yeah.
I'm not just like,
check in.
Like I didn't like create a job. Like, you know, like sometimes I'm like, did I just create a job here? Like, you know what I mean? Where I'm just like grinding and I want to like get to a point where, and you know, I have a vision of how I'm going to do that. But like, I want to get to the point where it's like, okay, like, you know, there's other people doing all the shit that I fucking hate. Cause there's certainly a lot of things I hate, like all the, you know, which for me, it's like admin stuff, like Excel.
Yeah, what do you hate?
I hate paperwork. I hate like accounting, like Excel, like, you know, pretty much like all the important stuff.
'Cause you're very that's good, because you're like you're not a detail oriented person. You're just not. But there's like that's a good thing in my opinion, and it's kind of like it's like for you strike me as someone like you have a good vision of like where you want to go, and like how long do you think it's going to take you to kind of get to where you want to be, having that lifestyle where everything's delegated?
I honestly think it'll take like probably like 10 years.
10 years.
I think so.
And you're good with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hey,
how old are you right now? You're 28?
39. So yeah, I mean, if I can get there by the time
You're 39?
39.
You look gorgeous
Thank
for 39.
you. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. I mean, if I can get to there by 50, I think that would be amazing, you know, and then kind of like still work hard because I like working. Like I don't ever see myself like retiring, like I like working, but I mean, I just don't want to be like so like fearful and like so like, oh my God, like I've got to fucking like be everywhere and do everything and like, you know what I mean? Just get to the point where like it's cruising and like, you know, like we're, like I said, we're really like, we're not so dependent on, you know, one customer, one brand, or, you know, a good season or a good 12 months. Like we're like, okay, like if we have like a bad 12, 18 months, like it sucks, but like we don't have to fucking fire people.
Yeah. I know what it feels like too. It's just like it's not a good feeling when it comes to cash flow. It's just like for us, we're backed by like an insurance company. So in terms of like we're well capitalized, if anything, like we have that, I have that stop loss, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So
But
enough
still-
about me. Okay, I want to talk about you. So first of all,
No, this is an interview.
no.
for you.
I'm doing the questions.
taking charge?
I'm taking charge and I'm doing the questions. First of all,
We got a new host.
this is a real fucking company over here. I walked in and there's like 30, 40 people. There's dogs. There's an office. This is legit. I was blown away.
It's your first time here.
I know. I'm insured by a real company. So tell me how you got here.
How I got here? How I got into insurance?
Yeah, I
or
mean,
how
it's
got
pretty.
into
I mean,
KD?
you're obviously very successful, and like it's impressive, man. Like you built up this thing, and I know that like you got in. Just let's
See,
go.
this is how charming he gets. This is why he's good at sales. Look how charming he is right now. Jesus Christ. Okay, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
No, I mean just
go on.
like a. Tell me more.
Yeah.
Why are you taking off your pants?
Keep petting my ego.
So tell me, you know, tell me how we got here in like, you know, a couple minutes.
In short, okay, so grandfather started the company back in the 70s. Worked it up. The kids worked there. So my dad and uncle and a few other people. My dad ended up leaving years ago, but it stayed in the company. So my uncle was the owner, and then my dad went off on his own. Stolen insurance. Sold that company back in 2002. And then when I was turning 24 or 25, he's like, he had actually just bought his brother. So KBD came back. Gary owned KBD then. So I started. And when I started, it was a little mom and pop shop. So it was still like, it was good, but we had our clients and stuff. We had our base, but it was probably, it was myself, a receptionist, and sometimes we had a broker, sometimes we didn't. So sometimes to learn, like I remember starting off my first 3 months, I started off cold calling. And then when I actually got my broker license, I remember being literally by myself. No one was like there to train me. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I'm literally by myself. I'm 24 years old and I have clients calling me, asking me about insurance, and I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. And it's just, so I obviously panicked. I got through it, but it was the best week I ever had to learn.
Sometimes you got to just jump in the deep end, man, and just
Well, we didn't have
fail.
a choice. We
And
didn't
just
have a
fail.
choice. Yeah. And my dad was there. So he's just basically like, he's a commercial insurance guy. So he's like, this was home and car insurance. He's like, Curtis, I can't help you. I don't know either. I don't know what to do. I was literally by myself. But anyway, got through that. But all this to say, so started off, and then we had a really good relationship with Intact. And, you know, they helped finance us, and you know, they have equity in the business. It's not a secret. I mean, you can go anywhere. We divulge that information and stuff like that. I never understand why some companies are reluctant to divulge. Like,
Probably
what's
an
equity
ego
in the
thing.
business. Who knows? I don't know what it is. But so there's that. And yeah, I guess I'm just someone who gets bored and really easily. I don't like sitting there and just doing the same thing like every day. And so I was like, hey, let's try and grow this company. I guess I'm pretty good at, you know, people listen to me for whatever reason. I'm not sure
you're a fucking
why.
Tyrant.
I'm not.
You just get very yelly.
But yeah, and now we're here. Yeah, I want to go across Canada, but this is one of the reasons why I wanted to start the podcast to talk about, number one, like I'm going to be completely honest. It's like I'm shameless about this. The main reason why I want to do this is to basically help grow the brand of KBD, and at the same time give exposure to people like you, and also too to help the viewer to basically, it's like a win-win-win to help the viewer. I want to be like a raw business podcast. I guess you could say would be like a good description of it. A raw business podcast. We talk, we swear, but we talk about like the real things of life. Like sometimes I understand too with you, dude, sometimes it's fucking stressful for fucking, like I've had to inject cash into the company as well. It's like, it's not a good feeling. Yeah. And like you're looking at the cash flow statements all the time. And it's just like when you're trying to grow, it's very intense. It takes a lot of money to grow.
Yeah.
It just does.
I think that, I've listened to like a lot of, and I'm sure when you're passionate about something, you read into it a lot or podcasts, whatever. And like, it's just really nice to know that like, you're not alone and like, you're not, cause I think the one of the things that is so easily to creep into your mind is self-doubt and be like, okay, well, like, what did I do wrong? What am I doing here? But like to know that like,
no I had self-doubt coming here for this. I'm like, fuck, am I gonna forget the question?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't write them down, but it's just basically whatever.
Like, what did I do? And like, oh my God, like this is so like crazy, but like no matter like, and I've told you this podcast before, how I built this. It's like fucking amazing podcast. And it's just people that have built like some of the biggest brands in the world. And there's I think there's like 200-300 episodes. Yeah. The number one common denominator on there is that every single one of them at one point in time was like, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
I'm so fucked. Why did I do this? And it's so refreshing and so comforting to know that these people that have built brands like L'Oreal and fucking like Cliff Bar, massive brands, they were there too, So like, you're okay. Yeah. It's going to be okay. You're not, no one's immune to these trials and tribulations of starting a business, It's a good feeling.
Yeah, I agree. But there's definitely like running a business, man. There's like a lot of ups. There's a lot of downs. Let's segue into that. So what would you say? We've kind of talked about it like a little bit. What would you say is the best part about running a business? And what would you say is the worst part about running a business?
I think the best part is the ability to affect change the way that you see it, right or wrong. We all have our opinions and we all have, our visions of what things can be for the better. And to be able to be that final decision maker, is a great feeling. You know what I mean? When someone like I love to manage in a very humane way and like make people feel good. And like, like I love to do that. Like I love when like someone has a great day or does a good job or creates something amazing. Like I love to be like, like, and they fuck up and like, somehow like I like, tell them in a really constructive way that like, that was wrong, but this is how we can make it better. Like, I just love to be able to.
You're very good at that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's, I'm not good at a lot of things, but certainly that's one of the things that I'm pretty good at is to be able to, communicate with people and get the best.
I will vouch for you there. You're a great communicator when it comes to like actually speaking to people. And I'm sure like you're.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd like to think that, I treat people well. And that's one of the things I learned from Jim is, there's a million ways to get to the end result of success. And Jim taught me that you can, I think there's a big misconception in the world that in order to be successful, you have to be a fucking hard ass fucking prick, and like you can treat people in a humane way and make them feel good and
you can't always be like.
No, like you say, you can't always be Mr. Rogers, but I like that. I like being able to put my stamp on it and to create something, the vision that I see it, as I said, right or wrong. And also, lifestyle to be able to like, to not like, if I want to like leave and like, just like I'm leaving, like don't, and just tell my partner like I'm leaving or I'm taking a day off or,
So this is the part, this is the stuff that you like about running a business.
Correct. Like yeah. So, I mean, I would say, that those two things are the ones that come to mind. And then the thing that is not the best is, certainly the stress and the reality of failure and that being an omnipresent thing on an almost weekly basis is takes a toll. It's really takes a toll on you where you're just like I've never been in a position where I'm like, okay, like if we don't like do like XYZ, like I might have to fire fucking this person. Steve. And like I love Steve. Like, and I actually like, if I don't get this fucking done, if I don't figure this find another mousetrap here to get some more revenue or find a solution to this problem, I might have to fucking let go of Steve. That pressure is real. And it's like, it can be heavy at times. And that's probably the only thing I don't like.
Do you ever have issues? like most of the time from when I speak to people, you know, everyone has their issues and stuff like that. I find like typically the most common ones, it's either like anxiety or depression, generally speaking. So do you get depressed ever, or do you get anxious?
I get anxious. Yeah, I get anxious. I get like anxious, and like sometimes like, you know, for sure, like a little overwhelmed, like where you're just
Do you
like,
have trouble
like,
sleeping sometimes?
oh my God, no doubt about it. I'm just like lying in bed being like, oh, let's play the game of how I can fuck everything up.
Yeah. Do you ever get those sometimes too? Because it's like, okay, this is for. Do you ever get? So sometimes there's definitely a real stress that's there, but do you ever have where you just can't turn your brain off? But it's actually it's an excitement, and you're having trouble sleeping.
For sure. I mean, you know, we just talked about the negative, and like, you know, we did talk about like the positive, but you know, when you're able to like, when it's just you and like, you know, you have a problem and you're able to fix that problem and come out of it smelling like roses. I don't know if there's any better feelings professionally in the world. Like to be like, you know, you're looking at failure right in the face. And you're saying, you know what, there is a real possibility that, you know, just using the analogy, we might have to fire Steve. But you're able to figure something out and you get out of it in the end and you're like in a better place and you're like fucking right. Like that is like literally like that's amazing.
It is a good feeling.
Great feeling. Great.
I feel like that probably happens to you often because you're pretty good at you know, you're a smart guy. I feel like you're good at kind of weaving your way
navigating the problems.
But that's just the reality of shit changes. Stuff's always changing when you're running a business. Always changing. It's never constant.
I can't take credit for this line, but the only constant in life is change, and it's true. And if you're not able to adapt, then you're fucked. Yeah. Like you're so fucked. And like one of the worst lines is like, well, that's the way we've always done it, so let's just do it that way. It's like, no, well, like you always just like, let's go look at this through a fresh set of eyes and let's try and, you know, get better and figure it out.
What's it like running a business with a partner?
So I'm very lucky because my business partner is one of my best friends, and I think that there's a lot of intangibles there that are amazing. Like, I mean, like the level of trust, like, is just like I trust him like with my life, and like, you know, so that's like amazing, and we have fun together, you know. So and I think that the challenges that we have are like any other partnership, where you fight, and like, you know, you have like, you know, there's certain things that I do that he's like are not his way, and there's certain things that he does that are not my way. But like, it's just like any relationship, you kind of got to just say, okay, well, like am I gonna fight over everything here? Like, you know, so it is a challenge, but I would say that being partners with a friend is better, and for me, I mean, that goes against the grain of what a lot of people would say.
Yeah, because a lot of people say don't go into business with friends.
No, well, I've been in business with friends and family since I've been in business.
Since you started. Well, yeah, you got started with your uncle.
And you know, like Jim, you know, as he's taught me in so many things, it's like, I mean, it can be done, you know, and like.
But you also hear, like, to play devil's advocate, there are, for every story where there's a success story working with friends and family, there's also a horror story where they don't talk to each other anymore. And there's kind of like, if you look at it, like mathematically, it's like a 50, I would say, in my opinion, there's like a 50-50 chance that like this could blow up in your face and you're not going to speak to each other after. And if you have a friendship, and again, I'm just being the devil's advocate. If you have a friendship and you value that friendship, you're like, it is risky to go into business with someone, because it's like you could end up not.
Because you could lose your business and you could lose a friend, right? I don't think you're risking.
Or you could keep the business and lose a friend.
No. I mean, it can go awry, just like many things in life. But look, so far so good. I mean, we're having a really good time doing it. That doesn't mean we haven't fought like cats and dogs, and you know, like on a semi-regular basis. But
what would be something that you guys would argue? I don't say argue, debate about.
I would say, so recently we've been a lot better. Initially, I would say the biggest thing would be just the day-to-day. You know, like it was hard to find our groove. You know, like, I mean, we're literally implementing everything from the ground up, and everything is a decision. It's not like, you know, like the day-to-day where like the business is rolling. Like we had to literally like just like simple operational things, like, you know, like, I mean, like in our business, you have like a customer wants to return shoes, like it's called a return authorization number. It's like, how does that email look to them? Like, fuck, it's like so many little things. And he's like, well, I think it's just that. I should think, you know, it's just like there's a zillion little things to decide, right? So I think as we kind of get a little bit more established, we fight a little bit less, and we just like understand the way that we work, you know, like, I mean, he probably sees my flaws and knows that he's never going to change.
You have flaws?
Oh boy, how long's the podcast? And I accept him for you know, and you know, he has way more positives than negatives, and he just, like any fucking relationship, right? So it's been good.
I have a funny story for that. My grandfather, for when he was trying to hire someone for this is back in the day. He's not around anymore, but back in the day. So he came over from Scotland and he worked in insurance before he started his own business. He worked at Liberty Mutual. So he goes to hire the sales guy, and he goes to the sales guy, goes, so like what would you say is like a bad thing about yourself? Like what faults do you have? He goes, oh geez, because I don't know, I have so many of them. And my grandfather literally just like hired him on the spot. He's like, I love how honest you are. Stuff like that.
I think there's something so nice about being like, for like everyone, like just being like not putting yourself like above people, you know what I mean? And just being like, I hate people that are like, what's the term I'm looking for? Like self-deprecating humor is amazing, where it's like, you know, they don't take themselves too seriously. We all know those people that are like, well, let me tell you how the life works. And no, it's just like, fuck.
There's nothing worse, like, and we always, and this is why I think we have great banter. There's nothing worse than having a conversation with someone that's just waiting for their turn to talk.
Oh God, ain't that the fucking truth?
And it's the same thing in business. It's the same thing, and I find there's quite a more than there should be in terms of like a lot of business people that because they've had success, whatever your definition of success is, we'll get into that like next, but because they've had some success, let's say financially, most times financially, right? It's like they don't fucking listen to anyone. It's like, and they're just basically like, it's good and bad in some ways, but it's like they always think they're right. It's like nothing's ever constructive. They're just there. They don't fucking care what you have to say, and they're just there to talk and talk and talk.
Yeah, they're not like, I honestly could not agree with you more, and just to further that point, like they're not telling you their opinion, they're telling you how things are.
Yeah,
it's like not just like, well, you know, like I had one experience here, and like also, I'd like to like I think maybe like, you know, in my experience this is what it's been. It's not, or they're just like, this is the rules of life, and you're just like, fuck you, Todd.
Yeah.
Fucking cocksucker.
Yeah.
You have a nice car. Shut up.
I agree. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Get out of my fucking face.
No, it's such a like unlikable quality. Yeah. Fucking hate it.
I agree. So what would you say is, again, broad question. It's a question, a philosophical question, if you will. Mm-hmm. What would be your definition of success?
Balance, for sure. Financial
work-life balance.
Work-life balance,
yeah.
Where, you know, and you know, certainly like financial freedom. If I want to go on a trip, I feel like going on a trip, I go on a trip. If I want to buy, new set of irons, I don't have to be like, oh, maybe next month, like we'll see if we get that big deal. Like, just to be able to do financial freedom.
What's your number you want to get to?
I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't work that way. I don't have like a number. I don't have, I just want to be able to live comfortably and to not stress about money and never be like, worried about, when's the next deal going to come. There's no number that's going to make me happy. Like if I'm happy, I'm just happy. Knowing that I'm not stressed about money, that I can do what I want to do when I want to do it. And then just, honestly, like, back to like the work-life balance, just having like good friends, good family, like, not being like a slave to my job and just being surrounded by good people and, being healthy and like,
so work to live as opposed to living to work.
Exactly. I think I'm pretty decent at that. Obviously the beginning of starting the business, like, there's sacrifices have to be made, but like still, like, what's the, like, Rob, who's my partner, always says that. Like when I'm just like, hey man, like I want to like golf on Friday, because we still talk to each other like that. Like, hey, like, is it okay? Like we're not at the stage yet where like I can just like if I want to go away for like a couple days.
It's good though, because it keeps you accountable.
For sure, because I feel bad for him. Like, like I don't want to just fucking pile on him. I want to make sure that I can do that, and just say like, hey, like is that okay? I don't have to be like, you can just go away and stuff like that.
Interesting. What's your opinion on Elon Musk? Are you following like everything that's going on right now on Twitter? Because you're a Twitter guy.
That's where I get my news, which is why I probably am so misinformed on everything. You know what? I don't know. I don't know what to fucking believe anymore, man. News is like the one thing that Donald Trump did is that he really made you like unsure of what you're reading, and like I don't know what which is what it's done is that it's forced me to take a step back and not really. I used to watch the news every day. I used to like know like and now I don't even watch the news just because.
Would you agree with the statement that news is like that media is news media, excuse me, is toxic? Generally speaking, it's toxic.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that, and it's not a healthy place, man. I mean, like it's really not like a place that's
Everyone's so
conducive to
angry.
like so angry. It's not like it's. I mean, I would 100% agree with that statement.
It's like whenever I watch, it's like it's like you feel like shit after watching.
Totally, and like I'm going to bed, I'm like feeling like okay, like well, we're gonna fucking all die, and life, the world's terrible. Like, what the fuck's the point?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like there's like a lot of people say this, but Matthew McConaughey, you know, I love that guy. He said it really well to himself. He's like, if you want to find darkness in the world and you want to look at like at everything with the glass half empty, you can find it.
Totally.
And if you want to have like a positive outlook on life, then like you can find that too. And it's kind of that's one thing that you're really good at, because like I'm guilty of kind of shitting on Montreal more than I should. You know what I mean? Is it like is it the economic environment that I would like it to be? It's not. There's still economic opportunity to like grow businesses and stuff. I'm not saying that there isn't, but like I guess I'm comparing it to Toronto, and it's like it's an apples and oranges comparison. Of course, there's more opportunity in Toronto, but it's like you've always been good at kind of like leveling me out.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I lived in both cities. I lived in
Yeah.
Toronto for almost 20 years, and like Toronto is an world class, unbelievable city with amazing opportunities. Certainly, you know, more than the Quebec. I mean, but it's not perfect. You know, I mean, it's got its downfalls, and Montreal not perfect, but I mean, there's also a lot of stuff here that's awesome. So. That's a great line by Matthew McConaughey, and it's honestly, it's like what you choose. Like if you're like if you're waiting for outside stuff to make you happy, it's gonna be a long journey.
Yeah. What would you say is like the big difference between Montreal and Toronto? Because most of the audience that's gonna listen to this, if there is an audience that's gonna be listening to this,
Your mom, my mom.
Yeah. So, if there is an audience,
Joey's
yeah.
mom.
If yeah. If I'm gonna assume that most of them are gonna be from either Montreal or Toronto, what would you say is like the big difference between like Montreal and Toronto? Because you've lived in both, and you're like the perfect person. You lived in Toronto for 20 years.
The biggest difference is like, I mean, there's a couple to me, like, is the size of the city. I mean, like, I don't have the numbers. Fact check.
Yeah.
What's the population?
Oh yeah, what's the population
Like,
of
I
Toronto?
want to say like it's like
8 million?
three times the size.
I think it's 8 million.
Toronto?
Yeah.
As of 2017, it's 2.9 million.
2.9.
GTA. Give me a GTA. Give me a GTA.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 7.
Toronto.
GTA. What's the population of the
Did you
GTA?
say 7?
Yeah.
I'm going 7.5.
5.9.
God damn it.
5.9? Okay, I
Gonna
thought it was
get
bigger. Okay.
And
Thanks,
what's
Joey.
Montreal?
Yeah. What's
4 million.
What?
4 million? But that's off the island too and stuff like that. So it's like, but Toronto is generally speaking, it's more densely populated. But
So it's just a bigger city. So I mean, like everything in Toronto is just like it's far. Like, you know what I mean? Like everything that was the one when I first got there. Like it's just like it's such a big city, and like everything is like far. Like you can't just like go like anywhere without running into traffic and like just being like everything's like a trek, you know? And then so that's the negative. And then here, of course, we have the politics, which is, I mean, I don't want to get into that, but it's fucking, it's certainly being an Anglophone here, sometimes can be a little tricky.
Yeah.
But they're both great, man. I always say, like, fuck, like, do you like Boston? Do you like New York? Like, okay, whatever. It's like, what are you going to do? Like, be, like you said, you're going to be negative and pick the negative. I mean, there's great restaurants here. There's, beautiful people. It's all good.
Yeah, I would agree. Like going to Toronto I love Toronto, but going there sometimes it's like it's definitely a different. It's like here, it's definitely more about arts and culture in Montreal. Like we're trying to make the whole island into like a bike path basically and stuff. So it's like, here's a fun. I didn't fact check this.
That pisses right wing Curtis right off.
I didn't fact check this, but basically, someone told me it was a guy in a dépanneur, and he goes, Montreal, we have the most bike paths in terms of like distance in the world. Yeah. I didn't fact check it, but I would believe it because there's bike paths everywhere around here.
Yeah, no, that's a good way of putting it. Like it's more like our arts and culture here versus more like, business and commerce in Toronto. I mean, that's like, it's very like simplifying it, but I think that's a good way to do it.
And it's not right and it's not wrong. Like I'm not saying it's whatever your preference is, but this is just why like I'm someone I don't really value. Is that real, Joey? Yeah, it's real.
For North America, yeah.
Okay, for North America. So Montreal has the most.
Good for Montreal.
Yeah.
Good for Montreal.
But it's like, it's not right, it's not wrong, and it depends on what you like. I just happen to be a person that like I'm more driven by, I want to grow business as opposed to like the arts and culture scene. It's cool. I have no problem with that, but which is why like eventually I could see myself in Toronto for sure.
You know what? I would like, obviously there's no right and wrong, right? Like whatever you want to do with your life, like people, there's people that grew up in like a little town, they stay there their whole lives and they're fucking happy that way. Like for me, like I hope I'm going to live in another city in my lifetime. I would be really sad if I was like on my deathbed and like Montreal was the only city I've lived in.
Yeah.
Like I want to like.
Do you see yourself moving somewhere else ever?
I would be totally open to it. Like I would never be like, if something was like, okay, there's this amazing opportunity here and like you can go like fucking live in like Paris or, Australia or Cape Town, whatever. Like I would love to do that. I mean, you know how much like that, how much you learn when you go and like you like immerse yourself into like other cities. I mean, Toronto, Montreal,
different cultures and stuff like that. Yeah.
Saying that, Montreal and Toronto are like completely different cultures is not true.
Yeah.
But like that would be awesome. Like, so, like go do it and go to fucking Toronto and then go like, if there's an opportunity that takes you to San Francisco, go there. Like life's, that's cool, man. That's living,
I like that. Do you have I don't really have any more questions. I think we can kind of, I think it's been a pretty good
I think we should talk about the Fall Classic.
The Fall. Okay. For those of you that don't know, the Fall Classic, everywhere, nobody cares about this, so we're gonna talk about it.
That's not true.
And it's this tournament. It's this tournament at Beaconsfield Golf Course, and Patrick and I happen to be the champions this year. And everywhere we go, what do we tell everyone? I'll let you take it. Like, you're really good at
us. People literally want to murder us. Like we start off as a joke and we're just like, do you want to hear about it? No, I'm like, I know you don't. And then we're like, well, we'll just tell you anyway. No, Fall Classic champs. We'll leave it at that. Leave it at that. We got the big polar bear. I don't know why the fuck.
Dude, we should have brought the trophy.
Wow, we should have brought the trophy. I've got it.
You have it in the car?
I don't have it in the car, but I've got it. So
you drive around with it
we
everywhere?
still have to celebrate it. We still got it. We still have to go out with the polar bear.
Well, we did with the polar bear.
The polar bear.
We did just go on a week vacation to Mexico.
Yes. I know, but we didn't celebrate with the polar bear.
That's true. But do you have any other questions or anything? What do you think about like if you're in your opinion, what could be one thing? Because we're again, this is the first episode. I don't even know what the name of the podcast is going to be. Mm-hmm. What do you like and what do you actually? I don't care about. Yeah, actually, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. What do you like and what do you not like?
I love Joey's mustache.
Okay, it's a dope mustache, eh, Joey?
And maybe just a little, maybe just a little bit of artwork up in here, maybe,
hey,
and also
on these ones too,
and also some cocktails.
Cocktails,
some sea tails.
Okay,
and we're good. A little bit of artwork. Okay. You're good to go.
All right, cool. Well, Patrick McGuigan,
good job, buddy. Number 1.
4th Avenue Imports.
It's only up from here.